On this Veterans Day, we remember all of those who have given of themselves to serve our country in the armed forces, both at home and abroad. It's also a great time to reflect on the blessings of our freedom and liberty and of the sacrifices demanded to protect it. We say thank you to all who have had their faith tested in hard places and those who sacrifice for others so that freedom's light can shine brightly. Thank you for making a difference.
I feel as it's a great thing for each and every one of us to come out and dedicate our time, our lives for that matter, and our families' lives, because a lot of us end up being married or have close relatives that have guided us through this whole process. So we are doing it for the sanctity of the country, being as free as we are, and continuing on with their freedom and to stop anyone who would try to harm or hinder our freedom or our citizens for that matter. So I would say yes, because I'm not being forced to be in the military. I chose this because I wanted to be a part of something greater than myself. Veterans Day means to me a day of remembrance, a day of celebration, because I'm not first generation personally to be in the military. I have an older brother that was in the service. He was in the Army before. I have uncles and aunties who have served before. My grandfather was in the Army as well. So it means a little bit more than someone who's that first generation. They just joined the service. It means a little bit more because I have a lot of people who have fought for the country, died, and it means a lot at that point for me because I'm a part of that legacy now. When people do recognize us for being who we are, it lets us know that everything that we have done so far has not really been in vain. You know, people recognize the efforts that we have, and not just us as service members, but our family as well have endured during our whole service time, because it's not easy. It's not easy to be who we are. My time in the military and what it means to me, it means to me a great deal. It means to me a great deal. Like I said before, I have a lot of family members who have served in the military before. And when I talk to them about it, they congratulate me, they thank me, they appreciate me more than what I usually would receive from just regular people. And I understand it because that's my family members, you know what I mean, versus everyone else. Or it's just civilian strangers to me, and they see my uniform, they're like, hey, thank you for your service, sir, we really appreciate it, thank you. But for me also, it's been a great experience. It's been a great experience, and it does fill my heart when I'm serving, when I meet other service members, and we sit down and we talk and we share our experiences with each other. So it's a great deal. It means a great deal.
I worked with LA Sheriff's Department for many years, and now as a chaplain with the fire department, there's the same kind of devotion to the job, to getting it done and getting it done correctly. And when I see people, even in stores, who are serving the customers, I always look for that excellence, and most often I see it. And that's a good feeling, knowing that you don't have to go away to the military or be a fire policeman to have a devotion committed to what you're doing. Military provides something that you don't get from civilian life. Again, the closest that I can think of would get to it would be in fire and police service. Those two professions have the same kind of dedicated necessity to get them through the day and make sure that everybody comes home. If not, it's got to be a good reason why. It's a time when you get group celebration. You go into a store, one of the stores, hardware or supermarkets, and there are often special deals, but that special deal just didn't pop up out of nowhere. It came from somebody's heart. Somebody's thinking about this person who served. Someone is saying, I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you for your service.
As many of you know, Veterans Day is very special to me as an Army Vietnam veteran. To my fellow veterans and all active duty and reservists serving in all branches of the military, you are owed a tremendous debt of gratitude and respect. A sincere thank you for your service. We also remember your loved ones and the sacrifice they made while you served.
We will always need people to defend what we have and to prevent any type of terrorism or enemy nations to interfere with this wonderful experiment that we have in the United States. I think patriotism is something that has to come from within. It's maybe something that you might get from your father, your mother, your family when you grow up, but ultimately it's a choice that you make every day. It's a choice, it's a commitment that you make to your community, to your fellow man, that you're going to be a part of their community and that you're going to push forward together as a nation. I was deployed overseas for 21 months. It was a very long time, and it was definitely came with a set of struggles, but ultimately it was a great experience. I worked with and still friends today with all the people I deployed with. I served with a lot of really great men, and through the deployment I learned about their families and about their struggles and their goals and what they wanted to achieve with their lives, and it's just this bond that can make you inseparable. Living with and working with alongside and relaxing with the same group of people, the same cadre of brothers, that type of brotherhood, that bond that you get is just indescribable. If you have a normal job, you go to work and then you come home. And then, you know, you could put up this mask just to kind of deal with the people at work, right? But when you're deployed, you can't get away from them because you sleep right next to, in the barracks, you sleep right next to them, you know, and then you go to chow at the galley and they're eating right next to you, and you go to work and they're right there in the battle position right next to you. So it's almost like this whole different level of brotherhood, right? And the cool thing is, you know, you could be going through the worst day of your life, but they're right next to you. It's amazing to see what your body is capable of, and I feel like the drill instructors at boot camp are great at pushing your body to its limits, certainly limits that you'd never push yourself. So understanding that your body is capable of so much more than you allow it to be is just life-changing. A sense of respect for those that have come before us. Certainly the movies and books and media that like to respect these veterans, they're awesome to watch, but when you live that yourself, you get a sense of really what they lived through. Not just the glorious moments, but also their hardest times too.
It's very important that we have people that want to serve. Having people that are willing to serve, willing to sacrifice, willing to go out there. You know, our country isn't great by chance. You know, a lot of it has to do with our, you know, Constitution, Declaration, with our founding fathers, with our government, the way it was set up, the way it's evolved. It has evolved the way it's evolved. But the reason that we're able to still evolve and grow from that is because of our military, because our military has been able to stand strong and be able to defend not just our land, but our way of life and our ideas. And it's important that we continue to have people that are willing to make that sacrifice so that those who don't make that sacrifice can enjoy the benefits of what everybody else, especially those who have sacrificed. I'll tell you, when I come across a veteran and they're with their family, I thank the veteran, I thank the family as well. Because being in the military, that's one of the sacrifices. It's not just your sacrifice, but the sacrifice that your family has to go through. Everything, the worries, you know, you might deploy, you go deploy, you know your job, you know your capabilities, you know what, you got the weapon in your hand and you got everything you do to be as successful as you can with the situation. The rest of the time your family's back home worried every day, every moment, wondering where you are, what you're doing, if you're safe, if you're alive. And you know, it's a big sacrifice that the family didn't sign up for, and yet they have to deal with it. So I let them know that I'm grateful for their sacrifice, not for their service, but for their sacrifice and for their support. And thanking them and encouraging them to be understanding and supportive that, you know, being in the military is not easy. And, you know, it's important to have a loving and supportive family that's going to be this understanding, caring, and loving, and and continue to have your back in spite of the, I'm going to say, the side effects that sometimes come along with serving. My time in the military, my goodness, what's it mean? It means the world to me. It means the world to me. Talking about sacrifices. I loved my time in the Corps. I wanted to stay in. I did 4 years. I wanted to stay in, but I was stationed in North Carolina. And I had a wife and 2 kids growing up in California without me. And that's why I got out. But the Marine Corps was my life. I enjoyed it. It was it was a part of my life. I didn't see it as a job. I didn't see it as a duty. I saw it as a lifestyle. And it taught me a lot. It made me a lot of who I am today. It helped me grow up. I grew up instantly. I mean, I could tell you that 3 months out of boot camp, I was a different person. I'd probably aged about 5 years, maturity-wise, just through that experience. Taught me that I wasn't as smart as I thought I was, and I wasn't as good as I thought I was. But it taught me that I had the ability to be that person and to continuously strive for that, and to never quit, never give up, that quitting wasn't an option. Missing Man Table is there to honor all those who didn't come back. Those that either died in combat or just never made it back. We still don't know their whereabouts. If you look at the setup, everything has a meaning on that setup. Every single thing that's a part of that setup has a meaning to it. And to me, as part of remembering, I could tell you that I've lost a few people I served with due to accidents and PTSD. And that table also, to me, represents those guys. Those guys that, hey, we're no longer going to see, we're no longer going to sit down and have a meal with, or have a drink with, or share a conversation with.
Freedom's call is demanding. It comes too often and asks much. At times, it demands all. One way we consider that call and the sacrifice of those who have answered is through the setting of the Missing Man Table. This table, while often used to remember our POWs and MIAs, also pays homage to all who did not return. We remember our fallen this way today. The table is round to show our everlasting concern. The cloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their motives while answering the call. The single red rose represents the blood that was shed and the lives lost in that service. It also represents the family and friends who keep the faith. A yellow ribbon for the yellow ribbons worn by those who remember and never forget. A slice of lemon on the plate reminds us of the bitterness of our loss. A portion of salt, a reminder of the tears shed. A lighted candle reflects our ongoing hope. An inverted glass. We can no longer share a toast. The chair is empty. Our companions are no longer present.
The Missing Man Table, yes, I have seen it. And the significance of that is always, for me, remind us that we still have people that left one day to go down range and have never returned. And there's families out there who have lost their person, you know what I mean? Whether they have died downrange, or they've been captured and been held and detained for all of this time, or even just recently. It's always a reminder. You still got some people out there that we're still looking to get back home. So the job is never done. Until we have every man and every woman back home with their families, our job is never over.
I have to say that this, I believe, in my 12 years on the council, and this being my third term as mayor, that this is the most momentous occasion of my entire career serving the city of Chino Hills. As a Vietnam veteran, the symbolism that this monument now represents and the honor that it gives to all of the people who have ever served our United States, past, present, future, and not just here in Chino Hills, but all over the nation. I wish that everybody in the nation could see this and understand the importance of it, and that we should never forget. On behalf of the City of Chino Hills and our entire community, we say thank you for your service to our country. God bless the United States of America and the City of Chino Hills. Let us always remember that all gave some, and some gave all.
Thank you for your service.